So we're going to show you how to plant a root ball tree. And this tree here, which is a Liquidambar styraciflua warbleston, was lifted using a root ball. And this root ball keeps the roots in a nice compact shape inside in this hessian sac and this wire cage. And we tend to lift trees using the root ball system when they're bigger than 10-12. This guy is 12-14, but anything bigger than that is going to be in a root ball. Now, we're going to plant it into this hole, which we prepared earlier, at the right level. And one of the things we're going to show you is that you leave the root ball and the cage and the wire and the hessian in place, and it goes into the ground as is. This goes in, it rots down, the hessian will be gone in a year, and the wire is heat treated and will be gone within 3 years. So the whole thing goes in, and that's the first thing that we're going to do. So we prepared the hole, we used a pick and shovel, that's all we did in this situation. If you have access to a mini digger, even better. So we're going to roll the tree using our hook into the tree pit. And actually, Andrew, would you turn it around slightly this way? Yeah, keep going, and a little bit more. That's it, perfect. So sometimes when you put it into position, you got to make sure that you have it turned the right way. So we have it here, and what's really important is that the tree is at the right level. Sometimes there's a tendency for people to dig a hole that's way too big or way too deep. You do not want the soil coming up around here. You want the tree to be at the level that it's been at for the last 10 years. So here, that's just about right and the perfect height. So you can see it's level with the soil here. What we're going to do now is we're going to just backfill it with some soil and some mycorrhizal and some fertilizer and just get it set up. So that's just about the right level to have it at. We have it in position, and one of the things I like to do is just take a step back and try to make sure the tree is straight from every angle. And I think we need to just move it a little bit this way and possibly just that way. Okay, looks pretty good. You can adjust it with the stake and tie as we go, but you want it nice and straight because that's the position it's going to be for the rest of its life. So that's really important. So now we're just going to add some Mycorrhizal, and this is a bacterial stimulant that really helps the tree, in particular its root structure, bed into its new surroundings, giving it the biological activity and the nourishment and encouragement it needs to get established in its new home. So we're just going to backfill the hole with nice soil. We have really good soil here that's been worked on. If you haven't, a mixture of soil and compost is good, but you cannot use just compost because there's no structure in compost, and it'll collapse and it won't do the tree any good. So you need nice, good topsoil all around the tree. As it goes in, I'm going to firm it up with my leg to make sure that the tree is nice and secure, so that if there is a bit of collapsing with the soil, it's covered. Okay, so we're just going to firm that up, and we're going to add some Osmocote. So this Osmocote is a pre-plant 6-month Osmocote. It's ideal for young trees or young plants. So we're going to add around 200 grams just on top of the root ball. We put some more on when we have it planted in position, but that's a perfect amount of nutrients for its first 6 months of its life. It'll really need that in March, April, May, June, when its roots are starting to grow and its leaves are coming out. So we're just going to cover the rest of it with the topsoil. We've planted our root ball tree, and now I'm going to show you how we stake and tie it. Because it's root balled, we need a stronger support system in place. So we're going to use a double staking system with 2 stakes and a crossbar that's secured very nicely. And to put it in, ideally you'd need a crowbar and a mallet to drive the stakes, a power tool to screw in the screws, and a hammer to hammer in the nails. If you have these, along with our staking kit, which includes a 38mm cushion, our strapping, our screws, and our nails. If you have all of these, you have the ideal tools and the ideal equipment and the ideal kit to stake a root ball tree just like this. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to put our stakes into position. So I'm just going to crow a hole in the ground. This opens it up nicely to allow the stake go down. See, it's hitting some nice firm ground down there. But when you use a crow like this, it really does make a difference to getting the stakes down. We do it either side of the tree so that the crossbar can go directly behind it. So now we're going to install the stake, and I'm just going to hold this out of the way so it doesn't get damaged, and it gives Andrew a clear shot at the stake. A mallet for this purpose is fantastic if you have one. The big wide head makes it really easy. That looks good and solid, Andrew. Now we'll swap around. I think you're good, Andrew. Yep. So our stakes are nice and firmly in position, and that looks absolutely perfect. So we're just going to secure the crossbar onto the stake using these screws. There we go, that's the first one. 2 on this side, put the last one in. There we go, nice and secure. So we have our cushion, we have our strap. And what I like to do is put the strap through the 2 holes in the side of the cushion, get it nice and even and nice and tight, and then we just work it down so it's sitting just like that. So there we go, that looks really good. And the next thing we got to do is just make sure, give it one final check to make sure the tree is good and straight. That looks good, nice and straight. So now we're going to secure the strapping to the crossbar. We're using a really nice flathead nails, and the flathead means there's a lot of holding on the strap. If it's a narrow head, the strap tends to come off, but with these really good flathead nails that are part of our staking kit, you got a really good hold on the strapping. We'll do the other side. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so our 2 stakes are in position, crossbars in position, strapping and cushion, and this cushion is nice and soft, so if the tree grows and it rubs against it, it's not going to do any damage to the bark of the tree. In 2 years' time, we'll come along, cut off the strapping, take out the stakes, crossbar, and by that stage, the tree will have established a good root structure and position, and it'll be nicely anchored in place, and it won't need these stakes and crossbars anymore. So we're going to finish it off now. We're just going to level it nicely, put a top dressing of some compost on it to give it a lovely finishing detail. So we're getting to the finishing stages, and this is the part that makes it look really nice. So we're going to top dress this with a layer of around 1 inch of compost. If you don't have compost but you have access to leaf mold, that's fantastic. Even better if you have access to something like manure, or you can also use bark, which isn't as nutritionally valuable, but is still a really good product. When you top dress a tree like this with compost, it has many additional values. So what you're getting is the layer protects it from the frost during the winter, keeps it nice and warm. During the summer, it stops the water from evaporating. It just holds that moisture in so the tree doesn't dry out as much. This compost has a nutritional value, so the roots at the top of the surface will just grow along and take in the nutrients from the compost that's there. The other benefit is that the guy with the strimmers isn't going to go right up to the tree. The mulch also stops the grass and weeds from growing right around the tree, and the problem with that is that the grass is really hungry. It takes a lot of the nutrients and it takes a lot of the moisture. So the layer of compost around it stops that. And lastly, and the thing that I like the most, is that visually the tree looks fantastic when you have a little curtain of compost around it like that. So that's the way it's finished. It's planted just at the right level, just a little bit proud of the ground so the water will fall out of it. The roots grow at the surface, so it's just absolutely perfect. It's secured, nice and firm, so it allows a little bit of movement to allow it to grow, but not enough to allow it to get damaged. It looks really good, really happy with the way that's done. So we supply the full kit, which is the stakes, crossbar, the cushion, screws, nails, and the strapping, as well as the trees, of course.